Every year, thousands of people buy wild animals as pets and discover, sometimes too late, that the cute baby they brought home has become an unmanageable, dangerous, or deeply unhappy adult. In today's video, we'll be looking at 10 wild animals that you should never keep as a pet. And to start, we'll be looking at the largest cat in the world, an animal that now has more individuals living in captivity than in the wild. Number 10. Tiger. The tiger is the largest cat in the world, and there are estimated to be more tigers living in captivity in the United States than there are in the wild worldwide. Some estimates put the number of captive tigers in the U.S. at between 5,000 and 10,000 individuals, compared to approximately 4,500 in the wild. The majority of these captive tigers are kept in private facilities, roadside zoos, and private homes rather than in accredited zoos and sanctuaries. In some states, it is easier to buy a tiger than it is to adopt a dog from a shelter, and the lack of federal regulation means there is no comprehensive database tracking how many tigers are in private hands or where they are being kept. A tiger cub costs as little as a few $1,000s, and for the first few months it is a playful, seemingly manageable animal that can be bottle-fed, photographed, and paraded on social media for likes and attention. But tiger cubs grow fast, and within 2 years, that cute cub weighs over 200 kilograms, eats 5 to 7 kilograms of raw meat per day, and has the strength, speed, and predatory instincts to kill its owner with a single swipe. The cost of properly housing, feeding, and providing veterinary care for a captive tiger is estimated at between $5,000 and $20,000 per year, and many private owners simply cannot afford it. Malnourished tigers in inadequate enclosures are a depressingly common sight at roadside attractions, and the animals that escape or are abandoned often end up at sanctuaries that are already operating at capacity. The tiger takes the 10th place spot. Number 9. Wolf-dog hybrid. The wolf and the wolf-dog hybrid occupy a strange and tragic space in the exotic pet world. People are drawn to them because they look like dogs, and the romantic image of having a loyal, wild companion at your side is deeply appealing to many people. But wolves are not dogs. Despite sharing over 99% of their DNA, wolves and domestic dogs have been on separate evolutionary paths for at least 15,000 years, and during that time dogs have been selectively bred for friendliness, obedience, reduced aggression, and the ability to read human social cues. Wolves have not. A pet wolf or a high-content wolf-dog hybrid will never behave like a domestic dog, no matter how it is raised, no matter how much love it receives, and no matter how early the socialization begins. They are inherently shy, anxious, and unpredictable around strangers, and they lack the genetic predisposition toward human social bonding that thousands of years of selective breeding has instilled in domestic dogs. They are destructive on a scale that makes a poorly behaved Labrador look like a plush toy, tearing through drywall, ripping apart furniture, and digging under or climbing over fencing that would contain any domestic dog breed. They require enormous enclosures with secure fencing at least 2.5 m high that extends at least a meter underground to prevent escape by digging. They howl at night for hours, and they can become aggressive during mating season, during feeding, or in response to stimuli invisible to their human owners. Many sanctuaries across the United States are filled to capacity with wolf dogs that were purchased as cute, fluffy puppies and surrendered within 6 months to a year, and some that cannot be placed end up being euthanized because there is nowhere for them to go. The wolf takes the 9th place spot. Number 8. Capybara. And for our next section, we'll be heading to South America. The capybara has become the internet's favorite animal in recent years, and its calm, friendly demeanor and apparent willingness to socialize with virtually any other species, from ducks and cats to crocodilians and monkeys, has earned it the unofficial title of the world's friendliest animal. This reputation has led to growing demand for capybaras as pets in several U.S. states where ownership is legal. Capybaras are the largest rodents in the world, weighing up to 65 kilograms, and they are intensely social animals that live in groups of 10 to 20 individuals in the wild. Keeping a single capybara on its own is essentially sentencing it to a life of loneliness and depression, and solitary capybaras frequently develop behavioral problems including anxiety, aggression, and self-harm. They also require a large outdoor space with access to a pool or pond, as they are semi-aquatic and need to submerge themselves in water regularly to maintain skin health and thermoregulate. Their diet consists primarily of grasses, and they need to eat enormous quantities of roughage to keep their continuously growing teeth worn down. A capybara whose teeth aren't properly maintained will develop dental problems that are painful, expensive, and potentially fatal. They are also surprisingly fast and strong, and a 65 kilograms rodent that decides it doesn't want to go back in its enclosure is not an animal most people can physically handle. The capybara takes the 8th place spot. Number 7, venomous snake. Venomous snakes are kept as pets by a surprisingly large number of people across the world, and in many U.S. states it is perfectly legal to keep cobras, mambas, rattlesnakes, gaboon vipers, and other dangerously venomous species at home with no permit, no training, no insurance, and no inspection. The only thing standing between a king cobra and the suburban neighborhood it's being kept in is whatever enclosure its owner has decided is secure enough. An assessment that escape incidents have repeatedly shown to be wrong. When a king cobra, a gaboon viper, or an Egyptian cobra gets loose in a residential neighborhood, the result is a public safety emergency that puts first responders, neighbors, children, pets, and the snake itself at serious risk. These escapes can trigger evacuations, school closures, and multi-day search operations costing tens of thousands of dollars. Between 2005 and 2020, there were multiple documented fatalities in the United States from venomous pet snakes, and an unknown number of additional bites requiring anti-venom treatment. Anti-venom for exotic species such as cobras and mambas is not routinely stocked at most American hospitals, and sourcing the correct anti-venom from another continent can take hours or even days, during which the victim may die or suffer permanent tissue damage. Many venomous snake keepers are self-taught hobbyists rather than trained herpetologists, and they often dramatically underestimate the speed, intelligence, strength, and sheer determination of a snake that wants to escape. The venomous snake takes the 7th place spot. Number 6, monkey. The pet monkey is one of the oldest and most persistent bad ideas in the exotic pet trade. Capuchins, marmosets, squirrel monkeys, and spider monkeys have been sold as pets for decades, and the appeal is obvious. Baby monkeys are extraordinarily cute, they cling to their owners like human infants, and they display behaviors that are recognizably human-like because they are, after all, primates just like us. But baby monkeys grow up, and when they do, the cute, clingy infant becomes a territorial, aggressive, sexually frustrated adult that is nothing like a human child and nothing like a pet. Adult monkeys bite hard, often, and without warning, and monkey bites are medically significant because primates carry diseases transmissible to humans through saliva and blood, including herpes B virus, tuberculosis, and various gastrointestinal parasites. They are also incredibly destructive, using their dexterous hands and problem-solving intelligence to take apart plumbing, electrical wiring, door frames, and anything else they find interesting. Perhaps worst of all, pet monkeys raised in isolation from other monkeys are psychologically damaged in ways that are heartbreaking to observe, developing stereotypic behaviors including rocking, self-biting, and hair-pulling that are clear signs of chronic stress and emotional suffering. The monkey takes the 6th place spot. Number 5, otter. The otter is one of the most popular animals on the internet, and videos of pet otters playing, cuddling, and making adorable squeaking noises have driven a surge in demand for otters as pets, particularly in Japan, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Social media accounts dedicated to pet otters accumulate millions of followers, often portraying them as playful, affectionate companions essentially equivalent to aquatic puppies. The reality is very different. Otters are among the most destructive and difficult animals to keep in captivity. Otters are semi-aquatic animals that need constant access to clean water for swimming, diving, and playing, requiring either a dedicated pool with professional filtration and drainage or daily trips to a natural water source, neither practical nor affordable for most people. Without adequate water access, otters develop skin conditions, stress behaviors, and depression. They also produce a musky, oily, intensely fishy odor that permeates their fur and bedding, and their droppings have been described by keepers at accredited zoological facilities as among the worst smells in the entire animal kingdom. They are also genuinely, aggressively bitey, not playful nipping, but bites that can land you in the emergency room. Their powerful jaws and interlocking teeth, designed for crushing crayfish shells and cracking mussels, can cause deep, ragged puncture wounds prone to serious infection. Many otter owners who posted adorable videos in the animal's first year have quietly surrendered it after being hospitalized for a bite requiring stitches, antibiotics, and a tetanus booster. The pet otter trend has also driven illegal trafficking of the vulnerable Asian small-clawed otter, with conservation organizations identifying social media as a primary driver pushing the species toward extinction. The otter takes the 5th place spot. Number 4. Red fox. The red fox has been the subject of numerous domestication attempts over the years, and many people who live in areas where foxes are common have wondered whether they could simply raise one as a pet. After all, a fox looks like a cross between a small dog and a cat, and is clearly intelligent and charismatic. But the reality of keeping a fox in a house is very different from the fantasy, and the primary reason is the smell. Foxes use urine to mark their territory, and their urine contains compounds that produce one of the most potent and persistent odors in the mammalian world. Fox owners describe the smell as a combination of skunk spray and ammonia that permeates furniture, carpets, walls, and clothing, and that no amount of cleaning can fully eliminate. Foxes cannot be litter trained the way a cat can, and will mark every object, surface, and corner of your home with relentless enthusiasm. Beyond the smell, foxes are hyperactive, nocturnal, and destructive. They dig obsessively, putting carpets, gardens, and upholstery at risk, and they are extremely noisy, producing screams, barks, and shrieks that are particularly loud at night during breeding season. The famous Russian fox domestication experiment, running for over 60 years and producing genuinely tame foxes through selective breeding, has demonstrated that even domesticated foxes still retain the territorial scent marking and nocturnal activity patterns that make wild foxes unsuitable as pets. The fox takes the 4th place spot. Number 3. Raccoon. The raccoon is one of North America's most intelligent and charismatic wild animals, and the fact that baby raccoons are genuinely adorable has led a steady stream of people to attempt to raise them as pets. Baby raccoons are playful, curious, affectionate, and can be bottle-fed and socialized in ways that make them seem like a quirky alternative to a dog or cat. But raccoons undergo a dramatic behavioral shift as they reach sexual maturity at around 1 to 2 years of age, and the sweet, cuddly baby transforms into a hyperactive, destructive, increasingly aggressive adult that is nothing like a domesticated pet. Adult raccoons are extraordinarily dexterous, with nimble finger-like digits that can open latches, turn doorknobs, unscrew jars, flip light switches, open refrigerators, and dismantle virtually anything that catches their interest. Which turns out to be everything in your house that isn't bolted to the floor, and some things that are. Owners regularly report coming home to find kitchen cabinets emptied, curtains shredded, electrical wiring chewed through creating genuine fire hazards, toilet seats lifted and explored, potted plants excavated, and any accessible food container opened and sampled. Their intelligence, comparable to some primate species, makes them impossible to outsmart with conventional pet proofing. Raccoons are also one of the primary carriers of rabies in North America, accounting for roughly 30% of confirmed wildlife rabies cases, and they can carry raccoon roundworm, Balasascaris procyanus, whose microscopic eggs are shed by the millions and can survive in the environment for years. If accidentally ingested by a human through contaminated surfaces, soil, or objects, these eggs can migrate to the brain and cause permanent brain damage, blindness, or death. The raccoon takes the 3rd place spot. Number 2. Chimpanzee. The chimpanzee is the animal that most powerfully illustrates why wild animals should never be kept as pets, and the reason is simple: chimpanzees are so similar to us that people convince themselves they can be raised as human children, and so different from us that the inevitable failure of this experiment can be catastrophic. Baby chimpanzees are irresistibly cute, emotionally expressive, and capable of forming deep bonds with their human caregivers that feel genuine and reciprocal. They can learn sign language, use tools, recognize themselves in mirrors, and display recognizably human emotions. For the first few years, they seem like the ultimate pet. But chimpanzees are wild animals between 5 and 8 times stronger than an adult human, and as they reach sexual maturity around 8 to 10 years of age, they undergo dramatic behavioral changes that transform the gentle, playful juvenile into a powerful, territorial, unpredictable adult. Male chimpanzees in particular become increasingly aggressive as they mature, driven by hormonal changes that are normal for chimpanzee social development but incompatible with life in a human home. They display dominance through intimidation, aggression, and sometimes violence, and a mature male chimpanzee raised in a human household does not understand why its family members won't submit to its dominance displays the way a wild troop would. The result, case after tragic case, is an animal that becomes too strong, too aggressive, and too unpredictable to manage, and that eventually injures or kills the people who raised it. The most famous case is Travis, a 14-year-old chimpanzee in Stamford, Connecticut, who attacked his owner's friend in 2009 with a ferocity that shocked the nation. The victim survived but suffered life-altering injuries requiring a face transplant, and Travis was shot and killed by police. The incident led to the Federal Captive Primate Safety Act, prohibiting interstate commerce of primates as pets. But thousands of chimpanzees and other primates remain in private ownership across the country, and the risk of another incident like Travis remains very real. The chimpanzee easily takes the two-a place spot, and it is the single most powerful argument that exists against keeping wild animals as pets. No matter how much you love them, no matter how well you treat them, and no matter how confident you are in your ability to manage them, they are not pets. They are wild animals, and they will always be wild animals, no matter how human they may seem. Number 1. Slow loris. The slow loris has become one of the most viral animals on the internet, and its enormous round eyes and gentle, deliberate movements have made it one of the most in-demand exotic pets in the world. Videos of slow lorises being tickled, eating rice balls, and holding tiny umbrellas have accumulated hundreds of millions of views, with comment sections full of people asking where to buy one. What these videos don't show is the reality behind the exotic slow loris trade, one of the cruelest animal trades on the planet. Slow lorises are the only venomous primates in the world, producing a toxin from glands on their elbows that they combine with saliva to deliver a venomous bite. To make them safe to handle, poachers and dealers routinely rip out or clip the loris's teeth with nail clippers or wire cutters, performed without anesthesia, frequently leading to fatal infection, shock, and blood loss. An estimated 30 to 90% of slow lorises die during capture and transport before ever reaching a buyer. The animals that survive end up psychologically damaged, physically compromised, and completely unable to express their natural behaviors. They are nocturnal animals whose enormous eyes are adapted for total darkness, and being kept in a brightly lit house causes them chronic stress. The viral videos of lorises raising their arms when tickled are not signs of enjoyment. The animal is accessing its venom gland because it is terrified. Every share of a cute slow loris video drives demand for an animal whose capture involves mutilation, suffering, and death on a massive scale. The slow loris takes the 1 place spot. Of course, there are many other wild animals that people keep as pets and shouldn't, and I'm sure some of you will have suggestions. If you have any thoughts, then feel free to let me know down below. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.